It's Tuesday, and that means it's No Filter Tuesday. And today's guest is just wow. And I want to introduce this special guest by numbers. So 5 is her octet range, 34 is her Grammy nominations, 200 million numbers of records sold in her career and counting. She's the first musician to have a #1 to go throughout 4 decades. And talking about #1s, a #1 New York Times bestseller. Can you guess yet? I mean, she makes all of us love Christmas. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the icon, the legend, and my very dear friend, Mariah Carey.
Oh, great. Thank you, gorgeous. How are you?
Stunning.
You look so beautiful as always. I love your hair today. It's
Thank
gorgeous.
you so
Everything.
much.
We don't need to talk about it, anything, but it is amazing. It looks so good.
Thank you. You look like a vision. And I love that you always wear your butterfly ring.
I wear this Van Cleef and Arpels butterfly ring that they gave to me years ago. And I wear it, and I wore it through my pregnancy, and I wore it when my hand swelled up, and I wore it, and I was like, I'm not taking it off. And I was just, it's so funny that you mentioned it, because I was just thinking about that, like that I wore it through my pregnancy. Like, it was tough, honey. It was tough.
Do you consider this, your ring, a good luck charm?
It's just a thing. It's like I don't feel the same without it. I don't take it off. You know how you. Yeah, I mean, I know we're like similar in that way. Like you have your things, and
I have something on that I wear always. Yeah,
I know.
Thank you for being on No Filter. Thank you for doing this. We're so grateful for your time.
No, listen, I know we were trying to put it together for a long time, and I really wanted to be here and have a conversation with you. I was just trying to get through the process of writing my book, you know, and we were really working hard, and I just wanted you to know, like, of course I want to talk to you. Of course, I just wanted to get through that moment. You know what I mean? Like,
I totally understand. And your book, we're going to go get to these questions. I want to ask you, Mariah, do you remember where we first met? I
mean, I feel like I've known you my whole life. So I don't know I mean, I have very vivid memories of specific times with you, and moments that you made possible for me. And I just never want you.
I know the time, but I can't remember the place, you know, but because for me, you were part of my life too. Growing, you know, we were just.
Yeah, we both started so young. I talked about this the other day. I said, you know, she started at such an early age, and I understand that, but not quite in the depths of what you dealt with, I'm sure. I have my own issues. They're very well documented in the book.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this, and I know that we kind of both came to a new place of understanding, like, okay, she went through this, I went through that. Like, she helped pave the way and pioneer a generations of women, Black women specifically, to be able to feel great about themselves. And you know what? That's a really huge accomplishment. And I'm just thankful that you've done that.
Bless you. Well, Mariah, first of all, you're part of my life. I don't think I ever heard your name, Mariah, before hearing about you, Mariah. I don't know another Mariah. I feel like now there's many Mariahs named after you, which I'm sure you're aware of. And
yes.
I want to start from the beginning, because I want to tell people first that you are the Mariah Carey that I know. Yes, you're the superstar, but you are a girl's girl. You are warm, you are embraceful, you're down to earth. You're there when it really matters. you can talk to you, you can call you anytime of night, you'll pick up the phone. That's the Mariah Carey I know. We share a lot of amazing, wonderful friends.
Yes.
Some that we've lost, no longer with us, but their spirit keeps us even more connected. And I just want people to know the person that I know, that I love, that's been consistent. We don't have to speak every day, but I know you're there.
Yes. And I feel the same way about you. And, you know, it gets weird when it's like stuff happens and we don't get a chance to talk as much as would be perfect in my scenario, because I want people to know that the Naomi Campbell that I know has always been there for me and has really gone out of her way to make my life better, to introduce me to people, to make it a major thing. And I know that sometimes it's been like, oh, you know, well, you only care about this for that. It's never that with me. I'm always just going through my own thing.
So yeah, it happens. Life, when there are the other outside interferences, absolutely, that happens.
Yeah, but you know,
girl, you don't have to, you know. And
no, I'm saying this because it's us. I'm saying this is us. We get it, and people may not know what we're talking about. You may edit this out, but I just mean that it's really a special and rare thing that what you do for people. You have a lot of very wonderfully talented friends, and I think that you come to the table with an understanding of their talent because you have your own talent and your own special and rare gifts. And I really just feel like you do this, and that's why you're, like I talked about this the other day, there's a special quality that you have in terms of creating just a comfortability level even. You know what I mean? Like when you introduced me to Azadine, that was one of the greatest moments ever, because I have to say, and we know the drama that was around that. And look, it requires a whole nother book. It requires a whole nother book to talk about that. We know the drama, and we know that like he was so great. He was so wonderful. I know that you consider him a father.
We did that pretty quickly. Just so everybody knows what we're talking about. Azadine Alaya was my papa, one of the most unique and amazing designers in the world. And Mariah, you were going to the Grammys for the first time in a while, and we wanted you to look amazing.
Well, it was a quote unquote Mimi comeback.
Yeah,
call it a comeback. That's what we'll don't call it a comeback, but we'll call it a comeback.
No, not a comeback. We don't say comeback. It's like I don't do the runway for a year. It's just I don't do it for a year.
Right. That's your choice.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't that. I had gone through some ups and downs and then had this huge selling album. And, you know, you and I were connected. And yes, you were like, let's have a moment with Azadine Alaya, who was always one of my favorite designers from afar. But you considered him
and
like
a dad. What's crazy is, you know how many people over the years would ask me? And I was like, he was so special to me, like, you know, and to you too, that I never felt compelled enough to do it. But when we were discussing it, I was like, okay, Mariah, I can be in Paris in 2 days. Can you meet me there? You were like, I'm going to make it happen. And you did. And we were both in Paris. And it was such fun just to be running around with him. It was a special moment for me, something I cherish more so because he's no longer here. But
me too.
So happy.
And I can't thank you enough.
Isn't he the godfather to your babies?
Yes, so he had the babies there at his house, and they went upstairs, you know, the area above, you know, you were there, and they went there and they loved him. He was like a magical, mythical figure. Like, I feel like he was so majestic. Like there was a thing about him that kids gravitated towards. People, obviously we loved his designs, but he was this incredible kind of like fairy tale figure.
Mystery.
Yes, mysterious. And then everybody there, and we all didn't speak the same languages, and there would be fabulous people from and I've never talked about this because there's never been an occasion, but like we're talking about it now. So there would be people, just so people can get the context, that he had there at his lair. And it was, he was cooking, he literally cooked the food, and then he had, yes, but there were a few nights, and he literally cooked for everyone. And then there were people that were, what do you call it? Like, could be from a museum, could be from any, like arts. Yes, creators. So many different types of people. And we'd be there just hanging out, eating together, talking together, like living in his moment.
Everything happened in the kitchen.
Yes.
Yeah, everything
and
in the kitchen.
People will never know that. I wish he had a book or something where they could honor that, like what he did and show that side of it.
What? There is something I'm going to send you. There's 2 books. One is in English now. The other one is in French, but they're going to translate. I'm going to send you. There's 2. Okay. There are 2 books. Yeah. Okay. They're just nice little stories.
And that's my ignorance for not knowing. But what I'm feeling is what it was being there, like what it actually was being there, and being able to have him walk me up to his room and show me as he was creating. Like, what a generous soul he was.
Yeah.
Like, really, what a generous soul.
Very much so. So maybe start from the beginning.
Oh, Lord.
Like I do with all my guests. Where were you born and where did you grow up?
Well, I try to keep kind of a fairy tale moment here.
Yes.
So in the tradition of the Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus, I was never born. And here I am. And we just did a fabulous Christmas moment. I am so excited. I have a Christmas special with Apple Music. I've been talking to you about it. You know how happy I am. And I'm really like so thankful because this year has been obviously awful for all of us. And we really started this prior to COVID and prior to all the unrest and the sad state of affairs in this. I mean, it's always been the way it is, but the obvious unrest that's going on. And so, we did this. We started working on this special in February. I would have done it in December, but didn't happen then. But so here we are, and we're working on this, and I'm waiting to actually view it. And I'm so excited because it's really what I love. And so to be able to try to bring some festiveness to the world this year for Christmas, like I'm literally taking it.
We need it.
No, but I every year it matters to me. I know people like, you love Christmas and they make fun of me, but it's okay because I do. I actually do.
That's what you like.
It's what I love.
But I feel this Christmas, your special is going to be so embraced more than ever because it's what people need right now. They need that. They need that to be able to dream. They need to be able to fantasize. It is, like you say, been an extremely tough year for so many. But I feel like your content, your book, people have been able to go into your world and to know more about you, Mariah.
No, and like when we've spoken about things privately, it's a journey. I'm not going to say it's not a journey, but I am going to say I'm still on it. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring it all out. I don't know. Like the meaning of Mariah Carey is the name of the book. What was so great? Questlove has been reaching out to me. He's reading the book right now. Yeah. And I'm so honored because he is a consummate musician. He is literally a professor. And I'm so thankful that he has taken the time to both read the book and listen to the audiobook. For me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Questlove. And then he's like, oh, I never thought you would have cared but I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, thank God.
But what you've done, so you've done the book, but what the time and the energy and is that everyone has to not only just read the book, they have to listen to the audio book because no one has done what you've done in terms of some parts singing. It's really special.
Thank you.
You just don't get that in audiobooks. It's an audio book in its own category.
it's its own thing. And I thank you for saying that, because I really had, and I don't know that I've expressed this previously, but I really had a great experience as an artist recording this audiobook, because of course we worked diligently and for 3 years with my collaborator, Michaela Angela Davis, and myself. And I was very clear that I wanted to work with her, because people they wanted me to do it without her. And I was like, you know what? I know she gets me on another level, and I want to do this with her. So, in sisterhood, that's what we did. But then reading it and doing the audiobook and deciding, okay, I'm going to sing here, I'm not going to sing here. Like, I wish I had more time. Honestly, if I had a whole, I did it over the summer, this summer, during COVID, with my engineer there, with us getting tested constantly, with the whole thing, with the masks. And, because we take it seriously, and we took it seriously. But honestly, doing it, I was like, this is it's a creative exploration. It became a new expression of me. And of course, I wish I had more time to work on it. Of course I do, because it really is like a new genre. And somebody said that to me, and they were like, it's like you create a new thing. And I'm like, it is what it is, because I love to listen to audiobooks, and I download a lot of them. But it's like,
if everyone out there, you've got to listen to this audiobook, because it is a special one. And I don't think we're going to hear another one like that. You definitely set a tone there. You raised the bar so high.
With my heart. No, but I really did it with my heart. You know what I mean?
No,
I really, okay, I'm gonna sing right here. Like, who's expecting that to happen? But I'm like, I've just written the lyrics, or not just from the lyrics. I've been telling my life story through my lyrics for years. And so many great artists that you understand what I'm saying. People that have written classic songs. And so this was for me like, oh, I'm going to recite my lyrics, or am I going to sing them? Like, what is it? So it became a thing. And it was really, honestly, I'm telling you, I would do this from now on. I feel like I'm at a new place. This is what we're doing. And me and Lee have been talking. So that's a whole.
That's we're talking, when we say Lee, folks, we're talking about the one and only Lee Daniels.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So did you have any nicknames when you were growing up, Mariah?
Oh, I'm sure they had a lot of nicknames for me.
But one that you liked?
No, I didn't like what they called me.
No. I had a few too that I did not like. They were,
We love everybody, but now, but Mimi became a thing. Mimi became a whole movement. And what's great is that Michael Michelle Harris, who is the star of Mixed Dish, is in my Christmas special for Apple. And she's so great. She was in my video last year for All I Want for Christmas Is You, which went to #1 finally on the Hot 100. So
which is incredible for being throughout 4 years. It's never happened ever for a #1 to stay on and throughout 4 decades and get to #1. I was so happy for you. Our lovely friend Azim and I were like, Azim, could you believe this? I was so, because it's how it should be. You are truly the artist, and as well as an incredible songwriter. And I just thought, now things are turning out right. You know what I mean?
No, I love that. And I love that we were able to share that moment together. You know what I mean? And Azim as well. And rest in peace, Prince Azim. We loved him so much. What an angel. Really, like, what an angel.
How did you feel when you heard it was #1 in 2019?
Oh my gosh. So I was in Aspen, and I was there in the house, and I just, look, it had been #1 on the holiday charts for many, like 36 weeks. Yeah. So years and years. And that's all. I wasn't like, oh, it has to go #1 on the regular chart. Like, I wasn't focused on it, but the Lambs, my fans, the greatest people on earth, were so diligent about really making sure, like, hey, we're going to have this #1. And it counts because it never went to number one before on the Billboard Hot 100. So in the midst of all the young, new hot artists and their hits that were happening at that moment, it broke through it. And that's the power of the song. So I sat down in Aspen. I remember, and I wrote about this in the book. I sat down, I was looking at the Christmas tree, and I felt at peace. I was like, this is an incredible moment. This is an incredible moment.
I think I was in Africa, and I was just like, yes, number one. I just felt really joy for you. Now, you speak about your fans, Mariah. I don't know anyone. You are so incredibly aware of your fans and so caring. And I've seen it with my own eyes with you and your fans.
Mm-hmm. I talk about it in the book in a chapter called, throughout the book, but there's a specific chapter called A Family. Mm-hmm. And that is one thing that I never had, was a real caring and loving family. I hate to say that. It's horrible to say, but I'm just being real. Like, it is what it is. Yeah. And so they made me feel loved, and they made me feel worthy. And that's what I tried to explain in the book, because I wanted them to know, and I know they know, but I went through all the nonsense with the TRL and this and that, and nobody talked to their fans directly back then. And I would leave my fans voice messages. Like, it was us. Like, they mattered. They mattered to me before there was social media, before there was
way before. You've always been.
Yeah, they made my life different. They made me feel worthy.
It's a special gift that you have. When did you realize this musical gift that made you feel joy? I mean, the book, it says you were around 3. When did you feel inside of you that this joy, this place of peace, this is the place you wanted to be for the rest of your life?
So as a very young kid, and it was around 3 or 4, I started humming to myself and singing and making up little melodies and just really being obsessed with music and stealing the little radio from the kitchen and bringing it into my bedroom and like living vicariously through the music. And it was always my saving grace. It's always been my saving grace. And I remember, it was tough because I grew up in predominantly white neighborhoods where people didn't, and this is no, whatever, it is what it is, but I was made to feel less than I would almost say less than human. And so I had this thing that I was like, well, they don't know I have this. They don't know how music is here with me. And I never told people. Even
so it was your secret with yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was a comfort to have something like that.
That was my saving grace. And I have a song called My Saving Grace. And if my lambs watch this, they will know that that's what I'm talking about. It was my saving grace, and it still is. And it's like, even now, like with Christmas, I know it's like, haha, she loves Christmas. No, I literally do. And they're like, how do you write these classic Christmas songs? Like, how do you write these songs? I'm like, because it's from a place of truth. And because I was a sad kid that wanted Christmas to be great, I wanted a real family that cared about me. I wanted them to care. I wanted them to not ruin it. And they ruined it every year. So, here we are. Now it came.
A little bit, I can identify what I always would dream of. I loved going to my friends' homes and my school friends' homes, because they had to me, it was like their perfect family. When my mother was away, my dad I didn't really know, so it was, I loved that. That was my ideal of perfect family.
Yeah, other people, and they had the food there all prepared, and they had like stuff that you saw on TV. But I don't know where I'm coming from. I didn't have any of that stuff. Like,
I think that's why I always love things like Brady Brunch and Cosby Show and anything that was
Yes, it was like a family thing.
orientated.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
In the book, the desire to be accepted by your culture, not being black enough for the blacks, not being white enough for the whites, that must have been really hard to deal with.
You know, I don't want to put it in the place where, because I know some people will be like, oh, must have been hard. Like, because people do look at whatever, certain things, like whether it's lightness or this or that, and think that
they definitely do.
Yeah, and think that that's privilege. But what they don't know is when you are put, you being me, put in a situation where everybody else is white and they know that you're not the same as them, they make you feel like shit. And I'm sorry, that's what happened to me. And it was because they didn't get it that, no, they got it. They actually got it. It was their.
I believe they knew what they were doing. I believe it was
I do
intentional.
too.
Absolutely.
I do too. But you know, now it's all great, and I have fabulous people doing hair and makeup for me, and this is wonderful, and la 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 la. But back then, I had 3 shirts in rotation, and I lived in a piece of shit house. I'm sorry for my language, but I'm being honest. I'm being unfiltered.
Well, you said in the book you moved 13 times. That's a lot of moving.
It's a lot of moving, but you know what? I bring my kids all around the world, so I don't want to even put a judgment on that because they love it. They're like, because it's cold.
But you're moving around the world for what you do. But when you're actually living in one country and moving within that country, that's hard.
Yeah, and being at these places where
different schools, different friends have to start again each time. That's a lot.
Well, also when you're coming from
that's traumatizing, actually.
No, it's traumatizing, especially because you get there and the first question is, what are you? That's the first question. It's not who are you? It's not can we play together like you're my friend? It's what are you?
I can't imagine to be asked that. I can't. It's just
there's a thing that I feel with the ambiguity of myself, and you know, that I always talk about, and I say it in the song Outside that my fans will know what I'm referring to, but it goes ambiguous without a sense of belonging to touch, somewhere halfway, feeling there's no one completely the same, standing alone. And that's how I felt, because I didn't feel like I had a tribe. And it was really hard because the tribe I did have hated me. My own ex-brother and sister, they thought I was passing. They hated me. They didn't and I know a lot of people felt the same way. They just didn't have my set of circumstances like you. No one knows your road. No one knows what you went through. You paved the way for millions of people,
That's an added thing you had. You had that added thing that I will not know what that feels like, because, you know, and to be asked that, I mean, I know you've watched this film. You've watched that movie, Imitation of Life.
Of course. Me and Lee talk about.
I just bawl every time. I bawl for the.
You know what they vilify? They vilify the mixed girl. At the end of the day, every movie they've done 3 versions of Imitation of Life. Every single. Yes, they had the there's
one
3.
With Turner.
There's the Claudette Colbert version.
Oh,
there's
Claudette Colbert.
Yeah, from like the 1940s or 30s. I mean, look, I'm obsessed with it. I'm
because I knew she did A Star Is Born, Claudette Colbert. I didn't know there was one imitation.
Yeah,
She
was the lady, the what, you know, that's her.
Yeah.
And then there's the Doris Day version.
There is?
Yeah.
Doris Day. I've got to look those up.
Listen, I'm obsessed with it, but
I mean, I love that movie.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
Straight to the heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't like how they vilify. I don't like how they vilify the girl in the end. I'll call her royal, but I'm hoping no one else will use that terminology. They really do vilify her every time. Why does it have to be the girl's fault?
Well, they make it very about she's going to be against the mother. It's the mother, and you know that
she
they
wasn't. The world was against her. But I see it. You know, it's from all different. Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, we need to discuss this with Lee because he and I are obsessed with. I actually put a little Easter egg in the book for Lee because I told him I'm talking about about the house where I live that I call the shack because everybody called it the shack that I went to school with, and they, it was mortifying. So I'm talking about the paneling in the house, and I go, it's imitation of wood paneling, meaning for imitation of life. But I said it for Lee because I was like, you know what? No one in the world is going to get this but Lee Daniels.
But Lee, let me just ask you really quick questions. The word diva.
Yes.
I look at diva as a positive word. I think of diva as someone who acts, someone who sings big, but it's a positive thing. I don't like the negative connotation that the press try to label the word diva with, because it's to me they try to use it in a way to silence you, and I know that ain't happening.
Right.
How do you do you like the word diva?
I don't have a problem with it either because I know the actual definition and I define it in the book. I use the literal translation, and it was in the context of Leontine Price, who we both saw at the Legends Ball together at Oprah's when
2005.
we went. Yes, ma'am. And, Leontine and I shared a very, very special moment there. And I talked about it with Oprah recently. And she didn't know the letter that Leontine Price had written to me, which was one of the greatest things I've ever received. And so that's a diva. The definition, the actual definition is typically it's a talented woman who's typically an opera singer with a soprano voice.
Yes.
And then everything else, we don't care what they say. You're a diva, I'm a diva, eat, drink, dance, whatever.
Now, most artists that I know, Prince, Quincy,
Michael,
you like to work at the nighttime, which makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
And has it always been that way?
I've always been nocturnal.
When working, when recording?
I've always been nocturnal. I really have. But prior to even working, and I think it was because, and I think I said this in my book, there was so much unrest in my household when I was a little kid that I felt like I got to be up because I don't know what the hell's going to happen. So it started to create this anxiety for me, and not to sleep. But I learned how to handle it because you know what? In this business, do what you want. You want to work during the night, work during the night.
Like, I understand it's more peaceful, no? It's more peaceful.
For me, it's more peaceful, especially also with kids. They're not up. Like if I'm working in the studio, I have a home studio. If I'm working there, they're not running in. It's not a moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're just doing what we do. Yeah.
We have a lot of friends in common. I just mentioned Quincy, Prince, Michael. I mean, Mariah, your career, when you think of what you've done, you're right up there in so many ways with all these greats, and you got to know and meet all these greats. I mean, when you speak to me, you say Stevie, it's like, well, Stevie Wonder. I mean, who now, if you could do a collaboration, a fantasy collaboration, who would you want to do it with?
Well, interesting that you should ask, because there's a potential collaboration happening with, I don't want to say too much about who the person is. He contacted me and wanted to talk about something for this year, for this Christmas. And he's doing a project, but it's not just, so what happened was it's something from the book that he wants to sample and use. And I think it's going to become, if it happens, like I am so excited because I've wanted to work with him for a long time.
A long time.
But of course, I'll always say Stevie. I'll always say Stevie because he is, to me, just the guru beyond all gurus. I just love him.
And what was it like when you and Whitney did your collaboration? Because that, for me, I was so happy.
I was so happy too. She and I had the best time. I love her spirit and her energy, and it was just like people didn't expect us to get along, but they didn't know me. Like anyone who knew us both was like, oh, they're gonna get it. They're gonna totally get along.
No, I knew you were going to get along. Absolutely knew you were going to get along.
And I really appreciate her giving, like her spirit, her giving of herself with me, because she didn't have to be like that, you know, like she was there before me, and I totally get who she was and what she meant to this world. And I'm really sad. Actually, the last time I saw her was at Azim's party.
Okay, I've got to wrap up. There's one thing I just want to
I don't know who's you up. I'm trying to let you say it so I don't interrupt you.
I just want to know what motherhood is like for you.
I have to say, like, okay, so I worked tonight, right? I would, and it's not even really work. Honestly, when it's Christmas, for me, it's not work. I put the Christmas music on. It's a moment. I brought the kids into the shot because they love to be included in these things. And they made the moment great. That's what I said to everybody here. I said, between the kids and the dogs, that was the most festive part. Because look, and it's so great when they remember things that I've done with them. Like they're like, I miss Aspen. They're talking about things that I've made into a big, every year, you know, every year it's for them, but it's also for me. Like, I'm not going to pretend, oh, it's just because of the kids that we see Sarah.
You love it too.
Yeah. It's true. Like, honestly, they make my life better. They make my life better. I don't have as much time with them as I wish I did. I really don't. Even though I'm here, I've never been away from them for more than 24 hours. They don't have as much time with me as I would like, because but I do. They are never left alone. And that's one thing that I talk about in the book in terms of like my life as a child, because the goal of doing this book was emancipating my inner child, that little girl that was never seen or heard, that people didn't understand, and was not a famous person, did not have money, came from nothing, and nobody knew her. And what I really want for my daughter and for my son is that they always feel seen and heard, that they always know they're safe, that they're never left alone, that they're good, and that's it. So I'm thankful for them.
This book has been extremely an incredible journey for you. Has it been therapeutic?
Absolutely. Yeah, so therapeutic. And look, I feel like I'm in a different place in my life, because if people, and me and Michaela talk about this all the time, it's like I made a joke talking to someone from The Guardian, and it was a joke, but it was real. I was like, please refer to page 29. Like, please refer to page 29, meaning, I don't know what's on page 29, honestly, but meaning if you have a question about my life or what made me who I am, read the book. If not, what are we doing? Because that's why I had to write a whole ass book. People don't get it, read the book. If you don't have the time, then don't.
You and I discussed that I was appalled by, and I want to clear this up and say it. You know, I read, just going through things, and something I wanted to say here, that of what people say, and people can be very hurtful, but one of the things that hurt me, that because I care about you and care about Puff, was what Sandra said. I was just like, are you for real? How did that even slide by? That is so rude and disrespectful. And I will say it here, complete racist. You don't say that. You know, no. You are Black. You have every right. You are working also in a professional capacity. And I just felt like, nah, I wanted to clear that up because I was pissed. So,
well, you know what? I wish I would have called you back then when it first happened, because I was so upset, and there was nobody came to my rescue at that point. But whatever, you know, I can't. It's ignorance. It's ignorance.
It is ignorance.
I wouldn't have said it. Neither would you. We wouldn't have said that.
For me, I look at these people who are now like, yes, this Black Lives Matters, but then let's really remember what you said, because those things will come back and haunt you. Do you know what I mean? Now you want to backtrack.
Exactly.
Serious radio, but those things you can't get it. You can't do that. It's just wrong. What else do you have? You've got the Christmas special coming up with album. As I heard, there was some unreleased songs that no one has ever heard before. Are we getting that treat?
Well, we did that with the Rarities, and it was interesting because that came out this year during COVID. These were things that I had, and my fans know this because these were things, some of them had been heard, but some of them had never been heard. And what was really ironic was the fact that I had songs I was talking about in the book, like Out Here on My Own, cover of Irene Cara's Out Here on My Own, and Lullaby of Birdland. I talk about being a child and singing that song on the piano. And I happened to be putting these things out, and then it wasn't done intentionally. It just happened. So it's called The Rarities. Available now. Available now. And it really, really, like, I love it. Some songs I'm like, like there were demos. There's stuff I put out that are writing demos. And
but
so
demos, your demos.
No, but for me, I'm as a writer, like, I put it out, whatever. But yeah, so the fans have been interested. Oh, there's also Loverboy, the original version, because I had to redo that because something happened, and people will know that from the book. I had to redo that whole thing, the Loverboy song.
The album for me that I loved because I felt like it was you. You were coming out strong. You were controlling everything because I want everyone to know you have your hands are involved in every aspect of what you do. And I felt that was just, I was just like, yes, you came out with Emancipation of Mimi, and it was just, I just felt you for you as yourself, as an independent, strong woman, taking control of your life.
That's what it felt like to me. I had to go through so many ups and downs. And by the way, we all do. Yeah. We all go through these public moments. And what one of the things we talk about, of course, the emancipation of Mimi. Yes. Yes, Mimi. Yes, always emancipation for us all. But like going through the ups and downs prior to that was really difficult. Like that was extremely difficult. But you know what? You get through it and you push.
I used to try to call you, but the number was changed all the time. So
we know what that was. We know what that was, but we're not giving it.
I'm going to call you. They'd be like, no, this number doesn't work anymore.
And I do the same, but then I would be like, what happened, Naomi? You're like, my number's never changed.
Like, my number never changed. I know, but that was why I was worried. I think she's going to think I didn't call. And if I say I'm going to call, I'm going to call.
No, one thing everybody should know about you is that you really care about people and you really take care of your friends. And whatever you say comes from a good place. And
well, you know why I never called now. It wasn't that I wasn't trying to.
No, I needed to call. It wasn't that you didn't call. It was that whatever. We're not talking about those people that time.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, I just think like you actually care about people, and that's a rare quality in this business. And I know it's because you had to come from hard times to get to where you are. And look, like it's unfathomable, the success.
I just want to see you shine, rise and rise and rise and shine. For me,
listen, we both need to rise and shine, but I'm going to rise and shine at night. That's the difference.
You rise and shine whenever you want. It's all that matters. And I just want to say, Mariah, thank you for your time. Thank you for doing this.
Naomi, I couldn't be happier. Listen, this is great. I'm so glad you're doing this. The world needs to see you like this because it's not just your beauty. It's also who you are inside as a person. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I love you. You're the icon, the legend. You're everything and more, and you're my friend. And that's what I want people to know. You're my girlfriend, and you're there. And I love you for that. And I love you. And thank you.
I love you so much, darling. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
So what date? Let me just want to know the date. The date that we will be seeing the Apple special is on when? Do we have a date?
I believe it's December 4th. The 4th. Yeah. And I haven't even seen it.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we're getting through Thanksgiving. We'll see what it is. I mean, look, we're at a good place in this world. We're moving forward. I'm very happy about that. It's been tough this year, and the past several years. And so we're just getting to a great new place. And, and I think that we, meaning us and our friends, like are happy and we're going to a new place. And that's what's up.
Let's go to Africa, Mariah.
Let's go. I'm ready.
Let's do Africa.
Let's go. I'll go again.
I love you, love you, love you.
I love you so much.
I'm going to call you on the cell phone.
Okay, darling.
Kiss the babies.
I will.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Team MC, for making this happen.
We love you.
So honored to have Mariah Carey, the legend, on No Filter today. What an episode. In many ways, Mariah's songs are the soundtrack of our lives. Legend, thank you. We are so grateful. Appreciate your time. Please like this video and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Naomi out. Liza Koshy way.